224 young men who today are about to become players in the National Football League. A day where lives are changed, fates are decided, dynasties are born, and the clock is always ticking. Of course, I'm talking about draft day.
Yes, 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 yes. Wow, wow, wow. We sit here 36 days from the NFL draft, and I can't wait. I'm chomping at the bit. Mock draft after mock draft with Mel Kiper Jr. to ESPN to Dane Brugler, my guy, to Brian Broaddus to Voch Lombardi, to everybody, all the people in the draft world that I respect, some more than others. But Dane Brugler is my go-to guy when it comes to NFL prospects. He's a guy who releases the beast every year on now The Athletic for the last couple years. I used to get it via PDF download off of Twitter. But Dane Brugler and The Athletic, for me, that's about the best $1.99 that I pay monthly to that. Dane Brugler is the best, and he will have his beast for download towards as we get closer to the draft. He's still constantly tweaking his big board, and we're going to break it down tonight. He has his latest mock draft. We're going to take a look at that. But I am game time, Brian, as the sign in the back says, otherwise known as a mailman. Yes, I am a full-time worker for the United States Postal Service. I've started a YouTube channel a little over 2 years ago. We're nearing 60. We're a few hundred away from 60,000 subscribers, so we've come a long way in a short period of time, and I appreciate all my subscribers, everybody that follows me on every platform, every person I go and talk to. I appreciate everybody. I try to make this a personal experience as much as possible. I take pride in it. Um, so yes, let's get into it. As we know, Dallas holds the number 12 overall pick in the draft. Um, they went out into free agency. They did a decent job. I mean, last year this time they had signed 0 players going into the NFL draft. They lost more players. They lost a lot of players to free agency, and this year, they're getting a lot of. It's like I understand people want the big names, but who are we kidding? Who are we kidding? The Dallas Cowboys have a little ways. They have some unbelievable talented guys, but they have some holes in the team that need to be filled. And before you can draft, you got to go fill them holes. I thought they did a wonderful job. I mean, it could always be better, but they picked up a lot of guys. They have some of the best three tech rotation. With Solomon Thomas now. I think that's a great get on a multi-year deal. But anyway, we're not going to get too far down that road. They've done a bunch of moves. They still have holes. They could go any way with that number 12 overall pick. I have not checked this out. Again, we're going to wing it, but we're going to get through this as fast as we possibly can. Again, a 2025 NFL mock draft. Giants trade up for number 1 Shador for number 1. Okay, normally for my first. Now this is Dane Brugler. It was updated on the 18th, which was yesterday. So he says, normally for my first round mock draft, I like to propose a few trade ideas, but I found it tough to do with the class because it seems like teams like the depth on day 2 a whole lot more than the options in relatively late first round. Again, what that means is after you get past the top 12, 13, 14 guys, all the guys are about the same. They all have the same amount of risk. to each player. So again, this is why if you don't get those handful of guys that you may want, maybe you do trade down and get more day 2 picks. But let's see. Let's see what he has. Again, he has projected trade. Giants trade up with Tennessee to take Cam Ward. I actually believe that Tennessee will stick with Cam Ward. So I'm going to look at this mock draft and then I'm going to tell you what I would do. I see a Tennessee falling in love with Cam Ward. So if this happens, it's going to take a little bit. It'd probably be at least a surprising move. Packaging a pair of day 2 picks to move up to 3. Okay. Number 2, Cleveland Browns. Abdul Carter. Now, I've heard that they really like Travis Hunter, but this makes a lot of sense. Go get you Abdul Carter to pair the opposite of Myles Garrett. It makes a lot of sense. I'm not hating that at all. They could go Travis Hunter. I think this is the more likely scenario. Number 3, the Titans trade back. They still get their guy, Travis Hunter. Now, depending on what they got in the trade, probably a future 1. I mean, I'm sure they got a couple picks and a future 1. That's pretty impressive. That was an expensive win by the Giants. I don't believe this is going to happen. I think the Giants are going to be stuck at number 3. But if this happens, Tennessee gets Travis Hunter, arguably the best talent overall in the draft. It'll be curious to see where they play him. I would play him at corner full time and mix in the offense. But that's just me. Number 4, Dane has Armand Membao with obviously Abdul Carter off the board. This makes a lot of sense because they need offensive line help to protect Drake May. Number 5, Jacksonville Jaguars. Will Campbell. Okay. Again, not a big fan of Will Campbell, but as far as left tackles go, he's ready to roll. He plays a little upright. He stands up a lot, which is kind of interesting, but big boy. Number 6, Ashton Genty. He's gone, people. It is what it is. Ashton Genty is gone. I wish he could fall to Cowboys. He's a game breaker, but again, it's a blessing in disguise if for us Cowboy fans because we have other needs elsewhere. The running back room is stacked. Not bad. Mason Graham, yet another one of my guys. He's gone. He ain't going to make it to us. I thought at one point that he might fall to us. It's not going to happen, everybody. Mason Graham, and he's going to be an awesome one-tech in this league. He's going to provide some pass rush as well. He's going to collapse the pocket. Love the player. Number 8, Shamar Stewart. He goes high. Dane loves Shamar Stewart. I think one of my mocks, I had him dropping down to 32 to go to the Eagles. So who the heck knows what the pro scouts really think of Shamar Stewart? His talent is through the roof. His measurables are through the roof. He just needs to do it on a more consistent basis. So Shamar Stewart goes off the board to the Carolina Panthers. But, to get him at number 8 is surprising. But again, Dane Brugler is a guy where over the years, his copy of his beast, which is his top list from 1 to, I think, 200 prospects, actual teams have it in their draft room. I mean, it's been an unknown. It's been a quiet little secret that Dane Brugler, his beast, is on a lot of draft room tables. So very, very surprising he took Shamar Stewart, but he must know something. Move it along. We're going to move this along here. New Orleans Saints take Tyler Warren, tight end, Penn State. Tyler Warren is like he reminds me of the old Miami Hurricanes, the tight end, who's now an analyst that I can't think of his name. But Warren is a beast. Not not Kellen Winslow, the other one. Jeremy Shockey. Jeremy Shockey. Chicago Bears take Tyler Booker, guard, Alabama. Um, they went out and got a bunch of the offensive tackles. I mean, and guards. So I'll be surprised if they go with that here. Um, but we'll see. They do have an offensive head coach, so it makes sense. 11, San Francisco takes Dallas Cowboys guy Michael Williams. Thank you. Michael is not as consistent as I would like. Michael Williams goes to the 49ers. Thank you. Surprise, surprise. We get Ted McMillan out of Arizona. Outside of CeeDee Lamb, where is the juice coming from? The Cowboys offense. McMillan could provide some. With his rangy catch radius and ball skills, he is a quarterback friendly a target who is open even when he's covered. So there you go. The whole Ted McMillan versus Matthew Golden. They go with Ted McMillan. Love it, love it, love it. The end of the day, he ran a 4.58. I believe there were some scouts there that said that he ran a 4.5 flat. It's around there. Anytime you go to their pro days, you're gonna get the best time available. I heard a 4.5 and a 4.51. So it's all about the same. Moving along, number 13, Miami Dolphins. Nick Emanwari. Again, I'm not, this guy's play is nowhere near what his athletic ability would lend you, meaning he was a combine warrior. Excuse me, my allergies are bad. Um, he's a combine warrior who don't his tape doesn't really show you exactly. He's literally like my third, fourth safety. So the fact that he has him 13, that's another one where I'm actually surprised. But he does have the measurables, and um, a lot of these NFL coaches think they can coach up anybody as long as they have the raw talent, and that's what obviously they're going by here. Number 14, Indianapolis Colts, Colston Loveland. I had them the other day. Loveland going to the Eagles at 32. He is a stud in the likes of Tyler Warren, but he is off the board to the Colts. Again, that Dallas Clark like presence for the Colts. 15, Jalen Walker. I believe I don't know. I was going to do Jalen Walker to the Falcons, and I ended up doing the corner out of Texas, uh, John A. Barron. Donovan Azaruku, edge out of Boston College, goes to the Cardinals. Okay. Cincinnati Bengals takes Will Johnson. Again, Will Johnson has yet to run a 40. Supposed to run his 40 in April at his pro day. I believe it's April 14th. Has a hamstring. Something tells me, like Brian Broaddus says, that he may not run it. Again, Dallas did draft Trayvon Diggs in the second round. And if rumor has it, if CD wasn't there at 17, they were taking Diggs in the first round. He dropped all the way down to 60, I believe, and we got him in the second round. Never ran a 40, Trayvon. And that worked out well. I mean, he's been injured, but Trayvon Diggs is a ball hawk. Will Johnson, we'll see. His tape hasn't shown as much as you would think. Seattle Seahawks, Jihad Campbell, arguably the best linebacker in the draft. I have issues with him, but he's a good player. 19, Tampa Bay, Mike Green, edge out of Marshall. Love Mike Green. His little T-Rex arms is probably going to slow him up. His off the field issues with a couple allegations, one in high school and one in college by an unnamed accuser. You always got to worry about that. But I love Mike Green out of Marshall. I actually have him as my number one edge. So, you know, I wouldn't mind trading down. I'm not going to go away from Tet, but I'm just saying, Mike Green's a guy. He's a dude. Denver Broncos, and it's funny, I had them going with the same thing on Marion Hampton. Well, Marion Hampton is basically a downhill runner. He's not going to give you much lateral, and that's okay. He runs a 4.46. Uh, he's a very good pass catcher. So, again, there's rumor that Dallas could take him at 12. What do you think? Knowing what Dallas had on the board, they took Tet McMillan. You have Matthew Golden. You have Omarion Hampton. Genty was gone. What would you do? Will Johnson. Shador Sanders drops down to 21. I could potentially see that happening, even though I have the Giants taking him at 3, because the Giants are going to be hard up for a quarterback, especially after losing Cam Ward at number 1. I like this pick. Go get me, Bo. Well, let's put it this way. I like Shador at 21 better than I like Shador at 2, if that makes any sense. Los Angeles Chargers get Matthew Golden, my guy. I love Matthew Golden. Runs a 4.2 at the combine. I don't think he plays at that speed, but Matthew Golden is one of them ones. In the words of Louis T, I would not hate Matthew Golden over Tet if the scouts deem that necessary. You would say, well, Golden only did it for 1 year. Oh, but what a year it was. So moving along, Green Bay, Derek Harmon, primetime Phil's alma mater. Derek Harmon, loved the player. Uh, very, very athletic, for his size. Great pick. I think I had them taking Kenneth Grant or something, so that's in the same ballpark. Minnesota Vikings, Kelvin Banks Jr., offensive tackle guard. He'll probably play guard in the NFL. Goes to the Vikings. Houston Texans, Gray Zabel, guard center, North Dakota State. I like Gray Zabel. Good pick. Very, 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 very stout individual. A good pick. Los Angeles Rams get Emeka Egbuka, arguably the most polished receiver in this draft. He does everything well. His floor is high, so they say. His ceiling, not as much. Can't go wrong with Egbuka at that spot. He's going to come in and be a 2 receiver right away. Baltimore Ravens do what they always do. They sit there at 27. They sit wherever they're picking, and they get a great ball player. They get, for my money, the best corner in the class in Jahdae Barron out of Texas. They're going to say he's not tall. He's only 5'11". They're going to say that he's got short arms. Bottom line is he's a ball player. Jahdae Barron, yet another Texas player that I love. Number 28, the Lions stick. They're already ultra talented, and they get a beast in Kenneth Grant. Great pick by the Lions. This is where we're talking. There's not much difference between this and the top 10. These are all stud picks. 29, Josh Simmons. Perfect pick for the Commanders. The best offensive lineman in this draft. As much as I don't want to take a lineman, if you had a trade down, that would be a possibility. Josh Simmons is going to be a left tackle day 1. His whole thing was he had a knee injury. They're saying he's going to be ready. In any other year, he will be drafted in the top 10 and be the first offensive lineman taken. He wasn't. Josh Simmons slides to 29, stays in the division, and goes to the Commandos. Hell of a pick. 30, Maxwell Hairston. This is a shock. Now, after we did get Kyer Elam from them, Buffalo, everybody said, oh, Kyer Elam's a bust. He's a bust. He's a bust. These people have to remember, Kyer Elam is a 6'1", 198-pound corner who likes to play press man coverage. That's what he excels in. And they tried to put him in zone in Buffalo. The GM felt one way. The coaches wanted him to do another. It was not a good fit. It's one of those things where you're putting a square, you're trying to fit a square peg in a round hole. Maxwell Harrison, again, that's the third pick out of this group that I think is a bit high for me. I like Amos, but I would say Harrison. I mean, Harrison in the second, third round. I even like Morrison out of Notre Dame better. So that's a shock, but his athleticism is crazy. So, don't get scared away from the boss man fat out of Kentucky. Maxwell Harrison's, I believe, is going to come in and play slot, but I don't know. Put in the comments. Do you like the kid? That's his 40 time. Yeah, looking at that, I like a Darian Porter, Jacob Parrish out of Kansas State. I really like that. If I'm the Cowboys, I'm trying to get Jacob Parrish to play that slot, maybe round 4 if we can trade back up in there. But number 31, Josh Connerly Jr., offensive tackle, Oregon, Kansas City, just like last year. Kingsley Suamataia didn't work out. Still a project. The Chiefs go get Josh Connerly. They're trying to bolster that offensive line. You saw what the Eagles did to them. They manhandled them. They destroyed them up front. Smart pick. And the Eagles end up with Walter Nolan. Wow, defensive tackle, Ole Miss, a beast of a player. Milton Williams is on his way out. Nolan would be a nice fit. This is the guy that was linked to Dallas. I believe they were looking at him for round 2. Eagles snake us again and get a unbelievably a talented Walter Nolan. That would hurt people. That would hurt. I would rather them go in a different direction and not just double down. But they probably will. They probably will. That's what the Eagles do. But there it is. If I'm looking at where I think were some reaches, I would say that Maxwell Harrison, I would say in the second round, maybe even maybe third round. Let's see, reaches. No, there's no reaches there. Matthew Golden, no. Shador, no. Marion Hampton, no. Mike Green, Jihad Campbell is a little bit early for me. Um, Pierce out of Tennessee, I think maybe goes in round 1, even though he had some off the field issues. Surprise Pierce. Eagles didn't go with Pierce. The edge rusher out of Tennessee as opposed to going with Walter Nolan. Jalon Walker, I could see that. Loveland, okay. Nick Emanwari, to me, is a big-time reach for the Miami Dolphins. He is a stud, athletically, so I see why they did it, but that's a bit of a reach for me. McMillan, Michael Williams, everybody seems to be having rising. This is Tyler Booker as a beast. Shamar Stewart, a little high, but dude is unbelievably talented and athletic. If he can be more consistent, this is going to be an awesome pick. And for a young Carolina Panthers team, I don't hate it because they're not ready to necessarily win right now. Mason Graham, Genty, Will Campbell, Armand Membao, Travis Hunter, Abdul Carter, and Cam Ward. That is it, everybody. So tell me what you think. For the most part, you'll see when this plays out. We're going to follow Dane throughout the process. And I will refer to him. He is the guy that I trust the most when it comes to evaluating college players. Again, the GMs respect them. You should respect them as well. But again, what makes it interesting is everybody has their own opinion, right? So, but there it is, the Dane Brugler latest first round mock draft. Let me know what you think. We ended up with Ted McMillan. I'm not going to be upset with that. We need a Robin to Batman who is CeeDee Lamb. We need that guy. We need it now. Just remember one thing. We're going to be them boys. We're always going to be them boys. But
How about them Cowboys? Yeah!
late.